All right, let's jump right into this. Right now, a pretty incredible technological revolution is actively reshaping classrooms across an entire nation. Today, we're unpacking AI tutors for Kenyan students and looking at how educational technology, or edtech, is literally transforming education as we know it. If you've ever wondered how artificial intelligence can, move beyond just being a buzzword and actually impact young lives and learning outcomes, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to break down the data, the case studies, and the practical roadmaps right here in this explainer. To really grasp the solution, we kind of have to look at the reality on the ground first. 40 to 1. According to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, that's the current approximate student-to-teacher ratio in Kenya. Just imagine that for a second. Imagine being a teacher with 40 different students in front of you. That's 40 different learning speeds, 40 different levels of comprehension, 40 different sets of questions. I mean, anyone who's ever hosted a kid's birthday party knows that answering 40 questions at once requires superhuman abilities, right? Under traditional models, providing genuinely personalized attention to every single student in that environment isn't just difficult, it's practically impossible. And the sheer scale of this challenge becomes even more apparent when we zoom out. There are over 10 million students in Kenya, 10 million minds relying on a system that is currently stretched incredibly thin. The potential to make a massive positive impact here is huge, but the old ways of scaling education, just building more physical classrooms or trying to rapidly fast-track teacher training, it simply can't keep pace with this kind of demand. We urgently need a bridge. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, Kenya's education crossroads. Second, the AI tutoring solution. Third, choosing the right tool. Fourth, success at Zawadi Academy. And finally, implementation and common pitfalls. Let's get started. Section 1. Kenya's education crossroads. The current landscape? Beyond just the numbers, the Kenyan education sector is wrestling with three compounding systemic pressures. First up, limited access to quality educational resources. Things like textbooks and up-to-date materials aren't always evenly distributed. Second, inadequate infrastructure. And third, that severe shortage of qualified teachers we were just talking about. When you combine those three factors, you get a system that is fundamentally blocked from delivering high-quality, tailored education to every corner of the country. But what if we could somehow bypass some of these physical limitations? Section 2. The AI tutoring solution. Building the bridge. This is exactly where we bridge the gap between a struggling traditional system and hyper-personalized student success. Now, before we get into the really incredible statistics, let's just make sure we're all on the exact same page. EdTech AI is simply educational technology that uses artificial intelligence to provide personalized learning experiences. You can think of it like a tireless, digital teaching assistant. It provides real-time feedback, it adapts to a student's unique pace, and it supplements what the human teacher is already doing at the front of the room. It absolutely doesn't replace the teacher, it empowers them. The measurable impact of this technology is, well, it's pretty staggering. We aren't just talking about tiny, marginal improvements here. Implementing AI-powered tutors can increase student engagement by up to 30%. It can reduce overall educational costs by up to 25%, which, let's be honest, is absolute music to the ears of school administrators. But most importantly, it improves learning outcomes by up to 20%. And because it relies on AI-powered adaptive learning, you can achieve personalized learning for over 90% of your students. Suddenly, that 40-to-1 ratio doesn't feel quite so overwhelming, does it? Section 3. Choosing the right tool. Exploring your options. It's all well and good to talk about AI in theory, but what platforms are actually available to Kenyan schools right now? Finding the right balance of cost, usability, and features for your specific institution is super important. For example, Google's AI platform comes in at 10,000 Kenyan shillings a year. It's rated easy to use with excellent support, and it packs in advanced features like natural language processing, which basically means it can understand and converse with students just like a human would. Then there's Safaricom's e-learning platform at a highly accessible 5,000 shillings a year, offering good support and solid tutoring resources. On the other end of the spectrum, some local AI platforms currently run about 20,000 shillings. Actually, wait, that's 20,000 a year. But they can be a bit more difficult to use and only offer fair support. So you really have to weigh what your teachers can handle against what your budget allows. Section 4. Success at Zawadi Academy. Real-world impact. Data is great, but humanizing that data proves it actually works in practice. Take Zawadi Academy, a private school right in Nairobi. They recognized a clear need to improve their student outcomes, specifically in those absolutely crucial STEM subjects, math and science. So they decided to take the leap. They selected Google's AI-powered tutoring platform. And here's the amazing part. They were able to fully implement the whole shebang in just 6 weeks. 6 weeks to fundamentally upgrade their educational delivery. And the tangible results of that 6-week sprint? Immediate. Zawadi Academies saw their student engagement jump by 25%. Even better, their actual student outcomes, we're talking in the grades, the comprehension, the retention, improved by 15%. This isn't some theoretical, far-off future tech. This is happening right now, actively transforming classrooms in Nairobi. Section 5, Implementation and Common Pitfalls, your guide to success. So, if you're an educational leader watching this, how do you safely and effectively bring this into your own school? Well, it breaks down into a pretty straightforward 4-phase process. Step 1, assess your educational needs. Where are your students struggling the most? Is it math? English? Target the AI right there. Step 2, choose your tool, using the exact criteria we discussed earlier, like cost and ease of use. Step 3, implement and train your teachers. This is absolutely critical. The AI is just a tool, and the teacher is the master craftsperson wielding it. Finally, step 4, monitor and evaluate. Look at the data, see what's actually working, and adjust as you go. I do have to give you a quick warning here, though. You absolutely must avoid these common mistakes. The most frequent pitfall we see is inadequate teacher training. If your teachers don't know how to use the AI platform, or if they feel threatened by it, the whole thing will fail. Another major issue is insufficient infrastructure. You have to have reliable internet and devices. And lastly, poor implementation planning. You can't just buy some software, flip a switch, and hope for the best. Failing to plan almost always leads to reduced student engagement and completely wasted budgets. But don't let that scare you, because if you plan correctly, the timeline and budget are completely manageable. On average, implementing EdTech AI in Kenya takes somewhere between 6 weeks, like we saw with Zawadi Academy, up to about 6 months for much larger institutions. And the cost averages between 10,000 to 50,000 Kenyan shillings per year, really just depending on the size of the school and the complexity of the solution. When you weigh that against the 25% reduction in overall educational costs we talked about earlier, the return on investment is incredibly compelling. And the really good news is you absolutely don't have to figure all this out by yourself. Organizations like AI Consultancy Kenya, whose insights actually built the foundation of our explainer today, specialize in building frontier AI for Kenyan organizations, keeping that vital local context in mind. They offer free consultations to help schools, universities, and vocational centers navigate this exact transition completely seamlessly. We've seen those 40-to-1 ratios. We know the systemic challenges we're up against. But we've also seen the massive increases in engagement and outcomes that AI tutoring can actually deliver. The blueprint is right here. The technology is affordable, it's accessible, and it is proven. So the only question left to ask is, if we have the tools to give every single child their own personal tutor today, what is the true cost of waiting until tomorrow? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep innovating, and I'll catch you next time.